Welcome back to the channel, or if you're listening to us, welcome back to the podcast. We're glad to have you here at the Retirement Planning MadeEasy.com show. From time to time, I like to do a video or two that talks about annuities and really, where they work best, where they don't work best, whether or not you need one. Maybe it makes sense, maybe it doesn't. There's all different types of them out there, and I think that's what makes them, one, they can be very helpful because there's a lot of different options, but at the same time it can be very confusing. So you may for instance go to like a dinner seminar and somebody talk about annuities, and you don't really know whether or not you should buy an annuity, or maybe it's not the right thing for you, and you may not be aware of the different types that are out there, what they are specifically designed for, where they can shine, where they can also not look so good as well, depending on what you're trying to accomplish. So for today's episode, I've just put together a quick guide to the different types of annuities, so you can kind of use this as a way of telling, what do the main ones actually do? What problems do they solve for? And what do they not do so well? So let's just kind of jump into it. First of all, let's just start with the fixed rate annuity. This is a very straightforward type of annuity. It's almost like you could compare it to a bank CD. So pretty much everybody's familiar with bank CDs. You put your money with a bank and they'll guarantee you a certain interest rate for like 12 months or 2 years or something like that, whatever the duration is. Well, the annuity world, they have something that's very similar to that as well. It's a fixed rate annuity. Sometimes you'll hear them called MYGAs, MYGA, which stands for multi-year guaranteed annuity. Now, these are very easy to understand because we're all familiar with a CD at the bank. You put your money here, they guarantee you a certain interest rate to grow, and then when that term is up, you have that extra interest income on there. So some of the benefits to this type of an annuity is that there's a very, very big safety component to them because they're not invested in the market. They're not taking risk with stocks, even, with taking risk as far as like, you're not buying a bond that can go up or down in value based on how the company that issued the bond is performing, or based on the direction of interest rates, right? That can affect it too. You're not exposing yourself to that type of risk. So there's a safety component to it. And another benefit is that it's a guaranteed rate. So, regardless of what happens in the rest of the world or the markets or anything like that, you know that you're going to get whatever the rate is. So if you get one that says it's going to pay you 5% for 3 years, that's what you're going to get. So that's some of the benefits that they bring to the table. Now, who is this for? It's really for conservative investors, or at least for a person who has a component or a slice of the pie of their overall portfolio that they want to have in a more of a safer, protected type of account. That's really who it's for. Also, as far as age goes, usually 50 plus, or you're getting closer to retirement. And the reason that there's that age on there like that is because annuities, when funds are inside an annuity, even if it's not an IRA, if it's like a non-qualified account, for example, you put money into a non-qualified account at a bank CD, and every year you're getting a 1099 that you have to claim that interest income on your tax return that year. With annuities, it's a little bit different. As long as the funds stay inside the annuity, they get the benefit of tax deferral. So you may earn interest on that annuity for the year, but you don't have to pay the tax and claim that interest as income until you actually pull it out of the annuity. And that may be years down the road before you decide to do that. So because of that tax deferral and that preferential benefit, there are also, on the flip side, because of that, if you pull the money out before age 59 and a half, under most circumstances, you're going to have to pay a penalty to the IRS for pulling these funds out. So that's why we say, when we're looking at annuities, especially the more conservative kind like this, they're usually better for 50 plus on age for the people that are wanting to put their money into it, or they're getting near to retirement. And that time before they can tap into this, these funds is less. If you're in your 50s, you're going to be at 59 and a half pretty soon. So that's why we say age like that. Now, the potential for growth on these are not high growth potential products. They're very conservative growth, and it could be just what you're looking for if you're looking for a portion of your portfolio to have that conservative growth component on it. The risk to these is very minimal because the principal is guaranteed on them by the insurance company, and even on the fixed rate ones, the interest rate itself is also guaranteed. So that's kind of like your first big category to understand like what different types are out there. That's one of your first the big ones that's very popular, and what it's good for, what it does, and where it shines. And if you're looking for high growth, this thing's not really going to be the thing for you, or at least for that portion of your portfolio. Now, the other one is similar to it. It's a fixed index annuity. And a lot of times, if you're going to like a dinner seminar, you get an invitation in the mail and somebody's talking about annuities. A lot of times they'll be talking about things like fixed index annuities. Now, the benefits of a fixed index annuities is also that your principal is not at risk, like with the market. If it goes up or down, or if the market goes down, you're not at risk to lose money from that. That's one benefit. Another benefit is that you have a little bit more upside potential than just your regular fixed annuity, because the word index in the title means that the annuity will credit interest income to your account based on what an underlying index does. Like an index, you could think of like the S&P 500. So if the index goes up, then they're going to calculate and credit you interest onto your fixed index annuity. And if the S&P index goes down, you don't lose any money on that. So with it being tagged and kind of indexed with something like the S&P 500, and there's tons of other indexes with different products out there, that means you have more upside potential. But also with that upside potential, you also have the fact that if the index always went down while you held this product, you could potentially not earn anything on it as well. So there's always a trade-off when you're looking at these things. Now, who is this for? Well, this is also for conservative investors, or people that have a slice of their pie of their portfolio that they want to be conservative. Again, the age 50 plus is a good rule of thumb for these type of accounts as well, just because of that tax deferral nature. And then if you pull it out before 59 and a half, the growth of it, you may pay a penalty on for that. So that means you're probably getting nearer to retirement. Now, another person who this could benefit for is somebody who's looking for additional guaranteed income in retirement. So let's say you've looked at your Social Security income that's going to come in when you retire, and you may have a pension, and you've added that up with Social Security, and you see that you still need some additional income coming in every month for the rest of your life. Then a fixed index annuity may also work, because you have on a lot of these accounts the option to attach a guaranteed lifetime income rider to them for a fee. So that's something else that can help you to fill in that gap if you need a little bit of extra income. That might be another type of person who this would be for. Potential for growth. Again, these are conservative accounts. These are not accounts where you're going to get it and then look back over the last 10 years and say, hey, I grew this account by 12% on average every year. That's not really going to happen. That's not what these accounts are made for. This is for the more conservative portion of your portfolio, or if you're just a conservative investor, you don't like a lot of the market risk, you don't like the losing of money because it worries you, then this is really what these are more aimed at for people like that. The risk for these, the principal is guaranteed. So whatever happens in the market, even if it goes down, your principal does not go down on these. So that's the level of risk on those, which is really low. Now, the third I guess, most well-known or popular type of annuity that you may hear people talk about, or maybe you recommend that you buy, would be what's called a variable annuity. These are the ones that have the highest growth potential. You can, they have these things inside of them called sub-accounts. So let's say you put $500,000 into one, and then you have all these different sub-account options where you could say, well, 100,000 of that, I want it to be invested in this, account that is like a mutual fund that tracks the S&P, and then this one would be a different type of account, and you can divvy up and diversify your holdings within that. Now, variable annuities are for more aggressive investors, people that want to have more growth potential, and a lot of times it's for people that have already maxed out their retirement plans, like their 401k or their traditional IRA or Roth IRA, and they're looking for another account that can grow but have tax deferral in that growth. So maybe they're looking for something, they put $500,000 into it, and whatever it grows to inside that account, as long as they don't pull it out of that annuity shell, the infrastructure, and they don't have to claim it as income, they get more tax deferral from it. So that's really the type of people that are usually looking at these. The money can be invested in the market, which means it can go down in value, but that also is what gives it the highest growth potential. So the risk is you can lose value, but the upside is that you might have more growth potential as well. Now, one thing about variable annuities also is they can have an income rider attached to them if you want to have some guaranteed income in retirement as well. But you got to be careful. Variable annuities, whenever you hear people like Dave Ramsey or Susie Orman or a lot of people on the internet that say annuities suck, well, the reason they're saying that a lot of times is because variable annuities have a bad reputation for having high fees inside of them. So that is a big downside. So a lot of times if you're looking for additional growth, you got to keep in mind that that fee can drag some of the growth down that you would get on that account, and it may not make sense to invest in the variable annuity unless you're looking at something like a no load variable annuity where they don't have a bunch of fees and stuff tied up in it, and you're just purely using it as a shell to invest in to keep some tax deferral going on. So that would be one of the big things to keep in mind with variable annuities. So that's kind of like a quick guide to help you with understanding the different types of annuities. So let's talk a little bit about the key takeaways from this. First of all, is you want to determine what the purpose of an annuity is. So on that chart that I just showed you, and if you're listening on the podcast, I just talked us all through it. But on that chart, what is the purpose of those? If you're looking at a fixed rate annuity, the purpose of that is not to give you stellar growth long term that's going to help the version of you that's going to live 20 years from now to have grown your portfolio a lot. Instead, it's going to just have your money earning a little bit of a higher interest rate than it could get at the bank. And it's not going to be taking a lot of risk. And it's probably money that you'll, maybe even want to be spending soon. So you don't want to put it into something where the market could crash and take years for it to rebound before you feel comfortable pulling it out and spending it. Or with the variable annuity or the fixed index annuity, like what is the purpose of what these annuities do? And does that fit in with your overall retirement strategy? All right. So you want to find out, what do you want your money to do? Like whatever your overall portfolio is, but also even that slice of the pie where you say, this portion, I want it to be in a lot safer of an environment than other portions. And then you may have other portions where you say, I want them to be more growth oriented, and I'm comfortable taking risks because I'm not going to touch these funds for another 10, 15, 20 years. So I'm okay with them fluctuating up and down in the market because long term, I feel like I'll do okay. But it's long term, but some other stuff I might need it to be safer, right? And then the last thing is to make sure that you talk to an expert who can help you out with this to, first of all, number one, determine if you need an annuity in the first place. You may not, but it may be exactly what you do need. But to determine if you need an annuity, first of all, and if you do, to find the best one that meets your needs. If you're looking for a guaranteed rate of return with minimal fees attached to it, you're probably not going to want to go with a variable annuity, but you might want to go with a fixed rate annuity, right? Just as an example. So that I would recommend that you do that before you jump in and buy a product that's not going to actually meet your needs and help you to take a step closer to where you're wanting to be with your retirement. Well, that's all I've got for you for today. Annuities are really just one aspect of retirement that may or may not be right for you. They can be used well in lots of cases, and sometimes you may not need it. But there's other aspects of planning for your retirement as well. And if you need some additional help, feel free to hop on over to my website, retirementplanningmadeeasy.com. You can download a free copy of our essential step-by-step retirement guide there. That's all I got for you. I will see you guys in the new year. Hope your new year starts off fantastic.